So hi, good morning, everybody. This is a kind of a short presentation that I'm giving about the new center that has been set up in Karima College, University of Delhi. The center name is Center for Innovation and Social Enterprise. The center is an outcome of a UKRI project, and this project, which is under the UK-India Education and Research Partnership, was conceptualized and started in year 2017. And over the course of last 2 years, we have been extensively researching in University of Delhi and University of Huddersfield, UK, about what is the scope and what is the chances of evolving a specific course curriculum for the students of University of Delhi about social enterprises. So when we began our research, we realized that University of Delhi has no specific focus on social entrepreneurship or social innovation and social enterprises. There are courses, there are schools dealing with a broader concept of entrepreneurship, but our initial research finding found this kind of a void which existed in the Delhi University. And it is out of this kind of initial investigation that we realized that it would be a good idea to have a center which is exclusively focused on social innovation and social enterprises. So over the course of 2 years, we started short-term courses on social innovation at Delhi University, and we were happy to see that there was enormous amount of interest generated among the students. They were curious, they wanted to know what is a social enterprises, and more importantly, they wanted to become social entrepreneurs. So to tap into that kind of an energy and curiosity and interest which the students showed, we came up with this proposal in front of the governing body of KMC, and thereby were able to establish this center in March 2020. And since then, we have been holding regular courses on social entrepreneurship. We have developed some partnership with Design Innovation Center, with University of Huddersfield, and we also got enrollment from students from all over the globe who wanted to study the concept, specifically how social innovation and social enterprises is evolving in a very, very complex country like India. As we also know that we have around 2 million social enterprises in India. But the critical point to understand is that even though there are social enterprises existing in the domain of education, health, sustainable development, inclusiveness, empowerment of women, there are still social problems and social issues which remain unaddressed. So my point here is that there is a potential for social enterprises to emerge, to sustain, and also to scale itself eventually. So the UKRI project on social innovation and social enterprises allowed us to specifically focus on the role of social enterprises in addressing the issues associated with the education, health, sustainable development, and so on and so forth. And the key objectives, if I have to spell them out, the focus of the center is primarily to provide an innovation hub for education and training of the students, staff, and also various stakeholders who would be interested in the domain of social enterprises. We also want to engage in critical social health research issues so that it can, sort of challenge the status quo, look into the problems which the society is facing, and connect with the right kind of people and agencies and NGOs who are focused on this thing, so that it works both ways. It's a win-win for both. As a research institute, we would want to study these social enterprises, but for our students also, it provides an opportunity to understand this complex terrain of social enterprises and how they exist, how they have been seeded, incubated, and how they are looking into various social issues and social problem solving. We are also seeking in a way to connect the local research that is within Delhi University with other social enterprises, hubs. For example, we would love to engage with social enterprises which have been set up, incubator centers which have been set up in various higher education institutions. So this will create the local, national, and also international connectivities and communities exclusively focused on social enterprises. We want that our research should establish a strong, thick collaborators, partners for mentorship, for coaching of the entrepreneurship, and also to maintain this kind of methodological philosophy that underpins the strategy of social enterprises, so that we can bring in this very interdisciplinary understanding of the subject itself. So currently we have researchers and collaboration with not only people from sciences, but also from the sphere of sociology to anthropology to pedagogical studies and critical studies, who are interested in this domain of social enterprises. We have within the center sort of created this 3-tier policy where we are looking at short-term goals because, as I said, our center is still very young. We are wanting to initiate a few robust programs at the initial stages, but eventually we also have this middle level tasks and tactics and strategy laid out. And of course, as the center grows, we would want to establish this long-term connectivities and teams which can create this kind of an ecosystem around which the social enterprises flourishes in the educational institutions. But also we can create these prototype of ideas which can be further connected with the industry and with the think tanks and the government sector, which can help them seed the ideas, scale it, and eventually so that they are able to stand and work for the benefit of the society itself. So we have this larger vision and mission of creating employment, having holistic courses, giving practical field work, giving back to the society ethos, which is often missing within the university curriculum, because we see that most of the university teaching is career oriented, where students are sort of pushed to have this super specialized knowledge to build up their own career. So how do these career building opportunities and knowledge and skills that we're providing can also be buckled in with the social concerns? So you not only create job seekers, we also create job creators. And more importantly, we create job creators who are not only thinking about their own profitability, but rather they can marry the concept of social benefit with profitability, or what is in modern times talk about the triple bottom line or quadruple bottom line, where planet, people, ethos, community can be brought in together to change the system which we are existing in. And believe me, this is the need of the hour, because the COVID-19 has brought in a lot of disruption, but I would say that it has also brought in a lot of lessons that we can take forward and sort of reset the capitalism itself, which is more humane, which is more conscious of the larger needs of the society, rather than this mad chase for profit and bottom line, which the capitalist model has been pursuing for a very, very long time. So now we want to sort of institute this concept of value which is waiting to happen. And this value is a very nebulous concept when I'm using it. It is not value in terms of market value, brand value. I'm talking about this very, very encompassing concept of value, something which Porter and Karma also talk about this kind of a shared value vision for the country, which can be created with community engagements, with participative, responsive capitalist system and the government system. So there's a larger vision and which we are aiming to sort of achieve in through the center. And as I said, there are medium and long-term goals. Of course, we want to create this innovation hub, which can add more value to the students. We want to get social projects connected with the social innovation and entrepreneurship globally, if that may be possible. And we want that institute itself becomes autonomous and self-financing, offer consultancy, change and sort of revise and provide new products, new ideas, and new courses, which are actually synchronized with the need of the time, and rapidly, fine-tuning our views with cutting-edge research and technology are some of the things that we are wanting to achieve through this center. And I'm happy to share that even though our center is young, the work behind the center, or the backstage work of the center, continued for quite some time. That means that we were thinking and moving towards establishment of the center, but 1 year prior to when we actually established one. So in that 1 year prior to the setting of the center, we could deliver concrete outcomes in sort of starting a short-term course on social innovation and social enterprises. We sort of have a module which we are teaching on social enterprises. We've also constructed this web resource base where we have a lot of primary empirical research and articles which have been loaded at the center website itself. And so we also want to sort of continue this active research so that this theory building and empirical evidences can be matched with each other. And as the subject or the discipline evolves, we want to see the footprints of that discipline also having some impact in the society itself, and vice versa. As the society changes, as the society begins to value social innovation and social enterprises, we want to bring in our teaching methodology and pedagogy also. So it's a two-way communication that the center would be actively engaging in. And within the activities that I have listed out, we have had international workshops at University of Delhi, in which some of the top university faculties participated. We had participants from IIT Delhi, IIM, Jindal, MGI, Ashoka, TIS, and JNU, and of course the University of Delhi Design Innovation Center. So it was a very enriching experience where we basically, this committee sat down to understand what should be the key thrust area of the center itself, and where and how the module and the course that we were teaching has to be devised so that the student gets a full theoretical understanding, but also develops this kind of empathy and experiential learning in terms of social innovation, because I firmly believe that social innovation and social enterprises cannot be understood through the lens of a theory itself. There is a deep significance of this empathy, understanding the audience, the client, the people that we are looking into, and that only involves when it evolves, and that also certainly involves that we are in thick connection with the concerns of the society, but also the people or social enterprises which are already existing in that domain. And then we've had various international conferences in Delhi University on social enterprise and social innovation. And I'm happy to share that during the pandemic also, every month we held a webinar on the key concerns. We held a webinar talking about COVID-19 and social enterprises, the role that social enterprises played during the COVID, and also that we have coming up with 3 substantial articles in International Journal focusing on how our center thought about the COVID-19 challenges and also bring about some empirical researches on it. And we have developed this kind of a knowledge exchange and interface model with both the public and the private sector, both within the university and with outside stakeholders. And interestingly, while we were talking about COVID-19 and social enterprise model, we also came up with this kind of behavioral or social psychological understanding of what are the key components or characteristics and behavioral traits which the social entrepreneur usually has. So it's kind of, we've called it a social entrepreneur avatar model, which focuses on what are those key characteristics of resilience, solution providing, empathy, optimism, holism, and creativism, and this desire to be a coach and mentor, risk taker. All these are the fundamental characteristics which can be traced in social entrepreneurs per se, have been listed in some of the research articles that we are planning to publish. Some of them are already been accepted. So this is a publication and research domain that we are focused on, linking COVID-19 with certain, traits, characteristics, features, aspects of personality, which can be traced as the basis or making of a powerful social entrepreneur. So this is a broad framework that I want to talk about the center. I agree that we are in a very, very initial stages of setting up of the center, but I would invite out, sort of inputs, advices, connectivities from other centers which already are existing both in India and abroad, and particularly UK, where we are having this partnership in UK-India education and research endeavor. We would love to have more resources, more understanding, more collaboration, more engagement between students, faculty, and industry in terms of fortifying and forging relationships and making the center real, sort of example in Delhi University, particularly, of what can be done in this domain. How can this void, which we identified through our initial preliminary research in the course curriculum, and also in terms of not having an incubation center focused completely on social innovation and social entrepreneurship. So these are the areas that we are sincerely focused on, and we would be happy to talk to our stakeholders and all those who are attending this meeting. I'm happy to take your inputs, proposals, and advices and suggestions that how we can move forward in this domain to help the passion and the students and the energy of theirs to be tapped to bring about a real change at the ground level, rather than just concentrating on the research and publication aspect. I think the uniqueness of social enterprises is that it takes idea down to execution level and implementation level. It's no good that you may have a brilliant social solving idea, but the challenges and the trick and also the benefits is when you transport that idea, well-honed, well-tested prototype idea, to the society or the location where you want to bring in change. And I'm sure your ideas will probably change also, or will get more fine-tuned and chiseled to meet the needs of the community where the social innovation and social enterprise is critically needed. So with these words, I end here and invite suggestions from the people who are attending the meeting. Thanks a lot.